What I love about Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel is the fact that you can always go ahead and improve your deck no matter what, even if it's over time, or if you are playing a new deck, you can learn new combos about the deck that you never even knew existed. Frightfur is one of those decks where you're able to just learn so many new combos that you can go into so many different routes. Anyways guys, if you guys are new to the channel, do not forget to go ahead and comment, like, and subscribe, and let me know what decks are you playing to go ahead and climb. So far we have been able to climb up the go-to on this alt account with Frightfurs, and Frightfurs are absolutely insane, I'm telling you. Anyways, what are we running? This is going to be the deck list. I will have it in the description below, so please go ahead and check it out if you're looking to see what is in it. But as for the changes, we went ahead and added ourselves another Fluffal Wings. That way we can get an extra Fluffal Wing in extra Fluffal into the deck. Also, we can use it to go ahead and pop our toy vendor. That way we can get an effect off of it. Another thing we went ahead and added, we got the True King of all Calamities now, and we got the Bahamut Shark, and also the Totally Awesome. Now, I will want to go ahead and point out that this deck will improve when the new packs come out, because I do plan to add Dark Phoenix Enforcer, so do keep that in mind. Anyways, let's get on to the video. All right, so we are going second, and honestly, as a Frightfur player, this is usually a good thing because Frightfurs want to work off the OTKs, and we are going to be going against a Despia Dark Lord. And now, if you guys are new to the channel, if you don't know, Despia Dark Lord is one of my favorite decks in this game as of right now. He does go ahead and summon off the first Dark Lord using a Dramaturge, so his Dramaturge does come back to the field, and then he can then go ahead and use Dark Lord to bring another Dramaturge back. After that, he activates a Dark Lord, I believe it's called Contact, so he can bring out Dark Lord Ichel, and then he goes ahead and gets himself the Indulged Dark Lord. So he then uses Indulged Dark Lord to go ahead and give us a Dark Lord Super Bia. I think he messed up there because you don't usually want to give the Super Bia, but you know, it is what it is. He goes into a Maschiana, and then from there he ends his turn. Now, we do have a Fluffal Penguin and a Poly with Patchwork. So I activate Patchwork because I know he doesn't have an Ash, so he can't negate this. He does bring himself down to 5k using the first Dark Lord to go ahead and summon out Aluber. Aluber is going to go ahead and give himself a new card, and we go ahead and get ourselves a Scythe. Now Aluber goes and activates, he gets his branded opening, and then from there I just turn Dark Lord Super Bia into attack mode because I want to go ahead and get rid of his Maschiana, but he decides to go ahead and activate Maschiana's effect, which is also a pretty good thing because I was thinking he had Nightmare Phoenix, and he goes into Apollosa the Bow Goddess, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's only a 2400 beater. So for me, I'm thinking I'm still just gonna go ahead and attack into it because we wouldn't be able to activate any of our monster effects, and I want to just get rid of it. So him giving us Super B was actually a bad play. We did activate Fluffal Penguin to go into Fluffal Dog. I'm able to go ahead and search out any Edge Imp card in my deck, and I search out Sabres. From Sabres, I use Fluffal Owl and Sabres to go into Cruel Rail, and then from Cruel Rail, I go ahead and activate its effect. Pop one of the Indulge, he lowers us down, and then I go into Predaplan, Verte, and Anaconda. And then from there, I'm just going to go ahead and bring out Edge Sabres again, use Frightfur Fusion. That way we can go ahead and get ourselves a Kraken onto the field. And then from Kraken, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Dramaturge. He then brings his first Dark Lord back. So it does suck, but at the end of the day, there was nothing we could have really done about that. He then uses branded opening. I then decide to go ahead and use my Edge Imp Scythe, and then he uses his first Dark Lord again, so he's now down to 2500. And I'm like, okay, well, we got to get rid of something. So with the Edge Imp Scythe, we're able to go ahead and make ourselves another Frightful Cruel. And then from Cruel, I'm gonna go ahead and use it to destroy one of his cards. He then does this to go ahead and try to negate our Kraken for some odd reason. I'm not really sure about that, but now our Penguin can activate, and what Penguin does is we're able to go ahead and draw 2 cards, and then we have to discard 1. So I discard our Sabres into the graveyard, and I destroy someone with Cruel, which was his field spell, but he gets to Theater back. From Theater, he's gonna go ahead and make himself another first Dark Lord. And for some reason, he did not pop Morningstar's effect. I don't know why. I'm so curious why he didn't. So maybe he was not thinking correctly. I don't know. And then he gives us another Each Shell. So this Dark Lord play was kind of messing up. Then he decides to go ahead and attack into Kraken, but we have our Edge Imp Scythe to go ahead and save our Kraken. So I thought he should have maybe attacked into Kraken again, but he did not. So now with Kraken, we have not only 2 attacks, but we also have a removal. So we're gonna go ahead and activate Poly. From Poly, I'm gonna go ahead and make ourselves another Cruel. Then I'm gonna use Edge Imp Chain, and what I'm trying to do is get him to negate the first effect of Dramaturge. That way I can go ahead and increase the Kraken, so he negates it. Now our Kraken is gonna go get an attack crease. So now we have a 3,300 Kraken that can attack twice. So far so good. He did fall for the bait. We're gonna use Edge Imp Sabres, bring that to the field. Then I'm gonna go ahead and play a card face down. I attack into his Dramaturge, and then from there I attack into Aluba, then I attack into Indulge. And then I'm gonna activate Kraken's ability. Oh no, I did not activate Kraken's ability. Okay, so I believe, I'm trying to remember. No, I did not activate Kraken's ability. So Kraken's ability was not activated. So now he uses the first Dark Lord's ability again. He drops himself down to 200. I'm not really sure why, but then he goes into Condemned. So here I was thinking he was going to just attack into all our monsters and then use Condemned to go ahead and get all his life back, but instead he goes into Underworld Goddess. So with the Underworld Goddess, I decide I'm gonna go ahead and use Infinite Imperm, and look how beautiful this effect is, man. They really did nice with the Imperm effects. So we negate the Underworld Goddess. He uses Theater to go ahead and now summon out Desphy and Proskinian. He uses Proskinian to go ahead and activate his ability. He does take our Kraken. I tried to save our Kraken using Edge Imp Scythe to bring it back to our field. Unfortunately, that did not happen. So I go into Saber-Tooth Tiger, put it into defense mode, and he gets ourselves a Kraken. So once again, I don't think he knew what he was doing. He activates Forbidden Droplet, but he forgot we activate Infinite Impermanence, so we're able to go ahead and save our card. But he could have definitely just used its removal effect to go ahead and remove our card, but he does not. I don't know why. And then from there, I go ahead and get ourselves another Frightfur Patchwork, and this is when it's going to be huge. He activates Proskinian to go ahead and take our Shark. So he now is taking all our fusion monsters thanks to Proskinian, but it is a-okay because we're going to use Poly, and then we're going to grab ourselves an Edge Imp Chain. From Edge Imp Chain, we're going to go into the Poly to summon ourselves another Saber-Tooth. From summoning Saber-Tooth, we activate Saber-Tooth's ability, which allows us to bring any fusion monster in our graveyard to the field. I then decide to go ahead and power up the boy Saber-Tooth to go ahead and attack for game. So the first round was super good. A lot of misplays by the opponent, but I mean, we still pulled out the win. Let's go ahead and hop into the next one. All right, so once again, we are going second, and honestly, we are going to get Tri Brigades. Now, if anyone knows, I hate Tri Brigades. Tri Brigades is a pure annoying deck. I decided to go ahead and Imperm the Nerval. I don't even know if that was correct. So from there, he still goes into the Salamander Great. And we're just gonna go ahead and fast forward because this deck just takes way too long to set up. It's not as long as most decks is, but still it's pretty long. Anyways, he goes and gets the Zodiac, and then from there he goes into the second Zodiac. So I'm actually happy we ended up going second, because now his Zodiac Trident is on the field. And then from there, he goes into the Tri-Brigade Rampant. So I noticed that he did not put his field spell on. I mean, the trap card, Revolt, onto the field. So I was like, oh, cool. So the first thing I do is I use Infinite Impermanence to go ahead and get Zodiac's effectively negated. And we get him down to 0 attack points. I activate our Toy Vendor. And by tossing our Edge Imp chain, the Imp chain, what we can do is add 1 Frightfur card to our deck. From our deck to our hand. So even though we get ash with our Toy Vendor, that is a-okay, because the first effect I don't really care for when it comes to Toy Vendor that much. But I'm able to go ahead and use Frightfur Patchwork to go ahead and get ourselves a Poly and get ourselves a Edge Imp Scythe. Then from there, I decide to use Twin Sisters. I toss the Edge Imp Scythe into the graveyard. That way we can get a card that can protect us when our Frightfur monsters would be destroyed. He activates Max D, and then on my Polymerization. Now, when Fluffal Penguin goes to the graveyard from a Poly, what happens is you can go ahead and draw up to 2 cards. So I decided to go ahead and summon out Kraken. We get 2 cards, we discard 1. Then I can use Fullest Burial Goods to send out the Toy Vendor card to the graveyard, and we can use this effect to get ourselves a Fluffal Dog. I summon out Fluffal Dog, and now I bring out a Fluffal Bear to our hand. Activate Fluffal Bear's ability to go ahead and search ourselves a Toy Vendor and place it set. I use Kraken's ability to get rid of Salamander Great. He uses it and then to go ahead and protect his Zodiac. And that is everything I wanted. That's why I use Kraken, just so I can go ahead and get rid of that. Now I can go into Predaplant, Verte, Anaconda. With Predaplant, Verte, Anaconda, I can use Frightfur Fusion. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of 5 monsters. this deck is crazy, man. And we're going to summon out the Frightfur Wolf. Now, what Frightfur Wolf allows us to do is attack as much as the amount of fusion monster used to make it. So goodbye, and then we're just going to keep attacking. This deck is actually crazy. He gets his Tri-Brigade Revolt, but honestly, it's already too late for him because it's already game. And look at the wolf just going crazy. This deck is honestly so fun. Oh my gosh, I love playing this deck, guys. I really do. All right, let's get into the next one. All right, so we are going second once again, and I'm telling you, going second is the key when it comes to this deck. Now, he only plays 1 card face down. Now, to be honest with you, this guy did brick, and you're going to see how bad he did. He does use his ass to stop our Fluffal Owl, and that is a-okay because we have a Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave then goes in and negates that Ash Blossom out of their field, so we're able to go in and search out our Polymerization, and we do have 2 Fluffal Penguins into our hand. So I go ahead and use that to go ahead into Cross Sheep. Now, Cross Sheep is good because what it does is if we fusion summon, we can summon up a level 4 monster from our graveyard. So we go into Kraken. Now we can go ahead and use Cross Sheep to go ahead and summon, and we can use Penguin, but he does Call by the Grave us. Now the reason I'm showing this is I want to show off the OTK potential of this deck. So even though he bricks super hard, and it looks like we can't kill this turn, we actually can. So I then summon out this. I go into the Predaplante Anaconda, and then you guessed it, we're gonna sacrifice 2,000 life points to use Frightfur Fusion, and then from Frightfur Fusion we can go into the Crew Whale, and then we're going to go ahead and attack for game. So this is crazy because remember Kraken can attack twice, so we use Frightfur Crew Whale to power it up. We attack once, and then we attack twice, and we end game. So just like that, a game can end. We can easily take out 8,000 life points. So you can see we have all different types of ways to go ahead and get into the OTK range. All right, now this time we are going first, and we don't really care to go first, but if we have to, it's a-okay. We do get ourselves a Fluffal Wings, which I'm happy about, because we can use Toy Vendor to go ahead and get rid of that. Then we can go into our second Fluffal Penguin. Now this is when it gets really crazy. We summon out Bahamut Shark, and then from Shark we sacrifice our Penguin Exceed to go ahead into Totally Awesome for a free negate. And then I can go ahead and send away the toy vendor to get the Fluffal Wings to go ahead and add 2 cards to our hand. We use Fluffal Bear to add ourselves another toy vendor to the field. And then we're going to use that to go ahead and get rid of another toy vendor, so we draw into a Call by the Grave. Unfortunately, it does go to the graveyard because it wasn't a Fluffal monster. But with the effect of toy vendor, we can now go into another card, and now we can summon out Cross Sheep. Now, the reason I went to go ahead and summon out Cross Sheep is because with Cross Sheep, I can go ahead and summon out another level of monster. This person happens to be playing Burning Abyss. I haven't seen Burning Abyss cards in so long. So we go into Cruel, and I go ahead and decide to use Cruel's ability to go ahead and get rid of our Artifcat Scythe. And there's a reason that I'm doing this. We get to summon out our Penguin because of Cross Sheep. I send out Frightfur Repair to the graveyard so we can activate its effect. And now with Whale's ability, we can get off the Scythe. So what does Scythe do? Just so you guys know, when this card is destroyed during the opponent's turn, they are locked out of their extra deck. And then it revives itself, right? So I use Cruel's ability as it was set to destroy it. It pops back up onto the field and literally stops his extra deck. He destroys our Cross Sheep and plays 4 cards face down. And I was like, oh crap, is this an Eldritch type deck? I didn't know, because I was like, does Eldritch play Burning Abyss all of a sudden? He activates Torrential Tribute, which really sucks. So now we gotta use Totally Awesome to throw it into the graveyard to negate that. But then he called by the Graver, so our Totally Awesome is useless as a negate, bro. So everything we did for that strong opening is immediately gone, because now he gets to go ahead and wipe out all cards except for our Cruel, because we had our Scythe in the graveyard and we were able to go ahead and get rid of the Scythe. Now he does activate this to banish our Frightfur Cruel, which does suck, but honestly we still have a Patchwork, and we have another Patchwork in. So now I'm able to activate Octopus. He uses Octopus's. I use Octopus ability. He then uses Torrential Tribute and he uses Trap Trick. So I am actually screwed here at this point, bro, because it's like, how did he end up getting 2 versions of a Torrential Tribute? So I thought he was gonna go ahead and get a 3rd Torrential Tribute. Maybe he only plays 2, and he goes ahead instead with Trap Trick, grabs himself a Griefing, and basically this targets one up monster in your opponent's graveyard, shovel it into the deck. Then you can send 1 Fiend monster from your deck to the graveyard, right? Well, I decided to go ahead and activate Polymerization anyways. We get ourselves a Frightfur Cruel onto the field, and then I use Edge Imp Chains to go ahead and add ourselves another Fluffal Frightfur card to our hand. Then on top of that, I use our Penguin. Penguin is then able to go ahead and draw ourselves 2 cards, and then we can send 1 to the graveyard. So I send Fluffal Bear to the graveyard, and then I add ourselves a Frightfur Fusion. Then I destroy our toy vendor and his trap card. That way I can go ahead and draw 1 more Fluffal. Then I activate Frightfur Fusion, and that allows us to banish 2 cards into the from the grave to go ahead and summon out a monster onto the field. Now we can activate Frightfur Repair. I can summon out another card onto the field that is a Fluffal or a Edge Imp. And we're gonna go ahead and attack twice with Kraken. We're gonna attack once with Fluffal Dolphin, and we're gonna end the game. And we still had our attack with our Cruel. So as you guys can see, this deck is incredibly powerful. It can grind rank. It's super good. It does compete against some meta decks, as we are able to go ahead and try Brigade and be able to go ahead and beat the Despia Dark Lords. So if you guys love the videos, do not forget once again to go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Cal Life is signing out, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day.